Hello and welcome everybody to the TI4 International Qualifiers presented by the NA Hub. I am Merlini Dota, this is Cinderin.
And Monster Energy.
And Monster Energy. This is our first time casting together. We have LGD China, not the LGD CDC, so the real LGD China versus the real LGD versus NE, New Element. So both of these are actually pretty high in the standings, if we can take a look at them. 2-0 on LGD.
Here we go, production.
CDE, or the other team is 2-1. New Element's 2-1. So they had a pretty cool strategy. They had a level 1 Roshan versus Dreamtime. I don't know if they're gonna pull out something cool again, but I view New Element as one of the cheesiest teams in the tournament.
So who did they lose to?
New Element, I think CIS.
They lost to CIS, but they beat Dreamtime.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, LGD Gaming. I saw their game against the second LGD team, LGD CDEC.
The fake one?
That one went past 1 hour, actually, in full game time. And LGD main team did lose Barracks. They didn't lose the game, but they could have lost that game against the Farms
Should
Naga.
they have lost?
They had, like, in the top 5 net worth, they had 4 of them. They didn't have the top 1, that was Naga, on the CDEC team, but since they didn't have a single Naga counter, I actually thought they would have ended up losing that game, but they still managed to put pressure on and take the game. Just, yeah, mainly because the CDEC supports didn't really have anything. They had like a Treant late game, and I know what the other support was. They didn't have too much. So, anyway, we're underway in the draft, so let's jump in immediately. LGD versus New Element, of course. LGD's first pick, they ban out Doom and Ancient Apparition, and Bat Rattle Lycan.
It's a lot of blue.
A lot of blue?
A lot of blue. There's no picks yet. So New Element, they do a lot of. I've seen a lot of weird stuff. They've done like support bounty hunter. They've done Keeper the Light solo mid. I think.
Oh
Maybe
yes.
that was HGT. I think it was HGT that ran it. But
did they win the game?
No, HGT got demolished.
God damn it!
So hard.
That's still my dream.
It was like first pick Keeper the Light, instantly go solo mid, and then they just ganked him like 20 times. So
oh god damn it! How do you get ganked? You have like 2,000 farming range. Oh well.
So Invoker first pick. Are we gonna see a Panda this game? Panda, I think, has seen a lot of priority in the last 2 scenes that we've seen, Chinese and SCA.
Yep.
Was there a Panda in your game?
I've cast 2 games today, and neither of them had a Brewmaster, but and also the 2 LGD game, the game with LGD versus LGD2 did also not have a Brewmaster, I believe.
I think I've seen like 2 first phase Brewmasters. Anyways.
Do you think that's why they first picked Rubik's? That's just like a block pick or not a block pick, but a preparation pick against Brewmaster.
You can never tell against New Element. They just draft the weirdest things, like Slark first phase.
Yeah, Rubik isn't really particularly good against Invoker. Sure, he has a lot of individual spells you can steal, but sometimes it's kind of hard to keep track of what you can actually get because Invoker uses many spells in the fight. Some of them are really weak to steal. Like if Invoker uses a level 1 of some sort of spell and you steal that, level 1 Sunstrike is arguably the worst spell in the game, in the mid-late game. Absolutely terrible.
Enchant Totem, man.
Enchant Totem. That's pretty good on Rubik if it's level 4. It's 400% range attack.
That's true. Level 1 though, without aftershock.
That's pretty bad.
Kill me now.
So what do you think about Slark first phase? You said it's weird. I agree.
It's really weird. Generally, it's like pretty good against Potom, pretty good against pretty long hard disables. Dragon Knight kind of picked into Slark, but in general, he just gets countered very easily. Bloodseeker, AA, pretty much any AoE, Shadow Fiend, like all these heroes just wreck Slark, Disruptor even. Just make his life really, really difficult. I haven't seen like Slark snowball out of control in a really long time, and most teams have seemed to figure him out post Shadow Dance change.
Yeah, and picking Dragon Knight into that I think makes a lot of sense. He's tanky, he can live through Slark's burst damage, and the single target stun arguably is really good because it's instant, so you can't really precast Dark Pact. There's no animation for you to prepare with, and the moment you see Dark Pact used, you just know you can lock him down and target him out. And LGD's already these 2 first picks from LGD have a lot of burst damage. Breathe Fire, Dragon Tail, anything Invoker gets, especially if he's Exhort, could actually just kill Slark from full HP during 1 Dragon Tail, even on level 1. So.
And they have better team fight and better pushing already with just those.
And they're going to ban Brewmaster, so New Element don't get to have better team fight. What do you think about the Chen ban? Sure, Chen Dragon Knight together is great, but I haven't really seen that in a very,
They're just
very long
scared
time.
of getting pushed down. I would be really scared of getting pushed down if I'm any. They don't 5-man that much. They tend to play like more aggressive strategies and gank oriented. So I think if the other team just groups up as 5, that's exactly what they don't want the other team to do.
Okay, so going further, LGD obviously has good team fight, like we said, and good pushing power with Dragon Knight. Who would you put mid? Let's just theorycraft here. Like Dragon Knight to me both these heroes are really level dependent, or get great with early levels. Dragon Knight level 6 can start pressuring the tower. At the same time, if you want to run an Exhort Invoker, if you safe lane him, I feel like he loses a lot of his potential if supports share experience with him on that tri-lane.
Yes.
So both of these should kind of get us a solo lane. Do you think LGD are considering an aggressive tri-lane into Slark Ruby?
I definitely think they should. I don't really think there's another option. It's either tri-lane with an Invoker, which, as you said, is pretty poor because the support will just yoink his experience, or yoink, or just put him in Dragon Knight in more than one lane is kind of crappy too. So I would say they should safe lane Invoker and mid lane Dragon Knight. So this actually makes LGD's lanes a little bit predictable. But Slark is not the best tri-lane hero, not aggro tri at least. He's pretty good in defensive tries. So I don't really think that any can take too much advantage of it.
Now, they're going to get Darkseer as their next pickup here, probably setting that for the off lane, although he does very well in mid lane against Dragon Knight if it's a one-on-one. Darkseer's generally one of the heroes that can't really lose a mid lane that hard. He will always be able to get some sort of farm with Iron Shell, but considering the other picks of New Element, and if you say they like playing early aggression, I would definitely recommend putting the Slark in the safe lane or solo mid, which he actually does well against Dragon Knight in the lane. That's something to keep in mind, that they could make use of that. Still needs to be careful with the rotations, of course. With Dragon Knight having Dragon Tail, it is pretty easy to set up for a gank. Now it's harder. They're gonna get living armor. I think the New Element, this reminds me of, what was the team that started doing that when Goblag was on it? Was it Roxkiss or the team he was in before that? That was the Quantic lineup that started playing like Treant Protector as a passive support, and then they just played solo laners that could abuse living armor to the limit. Like Darkseer can dive, Slark can dive. They're just missing a Weaver, then it's the good old Quantic lineup. I'm wondering if that's the plan, or if they try to run more aggressively with the Treant, which is what we've seen recently with level 1 Leech Seed, Boots, clop down someone and get the first blood.
Are they going to pick like OD or something mid, or something more aggressive, you think?
For New Element?
Mm-hmm.
I think the Slark is mid because of the Treant Protector pick, to be honest. I think that's all he needs to be safeguarded mid. He's going to win against Dragon Knight pretty much already, and then with living armor, he can maybe just bully him out of the lane even.
I think that'd be pretty good. I don't know if they will run Slark mid. I actually think I have seen them run it once before, but it's been a while. I remember casting the first start ladder.
That hexagon, what is that?
They have high push, high team fight. Oh, the Pugna pick. That's pretty brutal.
Like, no, they have nothing else than push and team fight. Good luck. Yeah, interesting. The other hexagon's a little weird.
What do you feel about Pugna? How do you feel about Pugna?
I think it's an underpicked hero, and I love it together with LGD's lineup. We talked about how they could potentially run an aggressive trial lane. Dazzle Pugna +1 could be very powerful, especially if they get another ranged support, or a ranged... if they want to get a melee support, definitely get one with a reliable stun. And then challenge the lane of New Element, or maybe you look towards some sort of a support with damage over time so you can deal with the living armor. I think that's the main problem they're going to have so far. Poison Touch level 1, what's the damage per second? 14? Does that break living armor?
Yeah, it does.
That is enough? What's the threshold?
I don't actually know.
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure. I've seen it take it off, I think.
Okay.
So
but they're going to get nixed. Like, why get something that makes sense, right? If you're New Element, you just get something we have no idea what you're getting. It's good against Pugna, at least. I think they're getting this pretty much exclusively for the mana burn.
But where are they putting him?
Yeah, that's my concern as well. Like, how would you want to lane this? Do they safe lane the Nyx? Do they put him mid? I guess they put Nyx mid and Slark safe lane, else it doesn't really make sense. But then, if you're LGD, you just want to stall out the game. Like, the late game potential of this New Element lineup is pretty much Slark and then Darkseer's Wall of Replica, which doesn't really copy anything useful here apart from Dragon Knight. So, I think LGD, with the Witch Doctor last pick, this was a really great pick that we didn't bring up. Triple range lane, cask, they have heal, they have secondary heal, and they have Pugna with Decrepify. This is a tri lane that's really hard to fight into, and I think if you're New Element, if this is a try versus try, I just think LGD just flat out wins, maybe even, not necessarily all lanes, but if you win try versus try in my book, that's like the biggest win you can get.
Especially aggro try.
Yeah.
This is... Yeah, I don't really know how New Element can contest it. I think they should probably just try and aggro try themselves to dodge a try on try, and maybe like sack Nyx in bottom lane. That's probably the best option for them, I'd say. Because can LGD put anyone else in the off lane besides the tri lane? I guess maybe they could do something weird like solo Pugna if they... I don't know. Strange.
Yeah, and having Yao on the Pugna will... Yeah, I'm assuming they're going to run an aggressive trial lane. It would be really weird for LGD to do anything else here, so... We're going to see if they choose to do that. New Element has picked all their heroes, so while we're paused, we might as well introduce the players. We've got Shiki playing as Nyx Assassin. The Darkseer will be played by... Help.
Dark... Gray. He's gray.
Darkseer will be played by Gray. Maples will be playing as the Treant Protector. The XZ. Okay, so XZ is Darkseer, thank you very much. The Answer will be playing as Rubik. And then finally, a lot of signs, DJ. We're going to call him DJ. Will be playing as the Slark.
And then we'll, on the Radiant side, did you introduce Radiant side?
No,
I don't think
I
you did.
introduced the Dire only.
Come on, Obs. Come on, Obs. Okay, sorry. We have DD on the Witch Doctor. We have Yao on the Pugna. Our stats guy thought he was on the Invoker, which I actually thought he was going to play too. He is a pretty nasty Invoker. DDC on the Dazzle. In the mid lane, we have Rabbit on the Dragon Knight. Man, a lot of pauses coming out. In the bottom lane, we have Lin on the Invoker.
So it's going to...
They swap roles, by the way. Shatuji normally the carry player, and Lin would play mid. But
Oh.
Okay. So a little bit of info from LD here is that Rabbit is generally playing mid now, and then Xiaotuji is... Or that is Xiaotuji, sorry. And Lin is going to play safe lane. So they've been swapping around. Not sure if Lin wasn't performing well enough in mid or Rabbit on carry, but Rabbit got a lot of praise for his carry play recently, so... I think they're just like, okay, for the greater good, we might put him mid. He's a great mechanical player as well, so perhaps that's the reason why mid is a very mechanical lane here. And yeah, Lin will be playing on the Invoker. So I personally haven't really seen Lin playing that much. I know the other players from LGD way better. But
Same.
overall, Invoker versus what looks to be an aggressive trial lane here from any, he will be struggling really hard. If he gets caught by Telekinesis or Leech Seed, he's pretty much dead. It's very easy setups for the pounce. And of course, Invoker on level 1 has absolutely no defensive mechanism at all, as we are...
We have cat problems.
This is the cat just pull out the screen cable.
Okay,
Oh
we're good.
my,
We're
here
good.
we go. All right. Nice recovery, Ben. What the hell? Starting
kitty
out
man.
well. That's great.
So I think it's a good decision by NE to aggro try, because it's relatively easy to predict that LGD is going to aggro try, and theirs will just get demolished. So I think this is for the best.
Having some interesting issues today. Yeah, let's see. The rune is about to spawn in 7 seconds. LGD are guarding the top rune. They might actually be able to initiate on this Darkseer right now, but they don't. If Dazzle isn't there, I don't think they can pursue him down. But if they could force him to skill Surge, that's a really big deficit for Darkseer to start with, of course. But not going to happen. The rune is... Wait.
It was
did
denied, but
he destroyed it? Okay.
yeah.
Did he actually destroy it instead of picking it up?
Yeah.
That takes a longer time. What's the point? Alright, anyway.
That's what Jimmy would do.
LGD are sniffing out the tri-lane from a new element, it seems like. They're expecting the bottom lane tri-lane because they saw Darkseer. It was very unlikely that he would be in the tri-lane, so... I feel like no matter who the third hero is in LGD's tri-lane, I would just say flat-out advantage to them because of the supports. Maybe unless it's Dragon Knight, maybe that would have been a little weaker, but this ranged tri-lane I think is going to do fine against the lane of new element, and it's just a matter of Lin getting level 2 so they get Cold Snap.
Did he start off with boots first?
Yep.
Oh. I think that's the right idea in this lane. Not sure whether he's Quas Wex or Quas Exort, hasn't even put any point in his orbs yet.
I think he was expecting to start against the Darkseer, and then with the boots he can just outrun the Iron Shell all the time, but if that was the case, maybe some flat damage would have actually been better. So it is a very unusual build. We'll of course get the fast phase boots, but if that's what you want to do, you could start with the claws as well.
It's
So-
a safer.
Yeah, it's a safer build, I guess. There's the Telekinesis already. They have the Leech Seed as well. DD taking a lot of damage, but good healing coming out as well. Still going to be dropping.
Treant Protector too strong in tri-lanes, man.
That's so sick here. That's the only thing they can't really afford. When I said this tri-lane could go up against the other one, they just need to play it range. Just don't expose yourselves at all. If you expose someone, let it be the Invoker, so that both the other supports can play defensively with Cask and the Shadow Wave.
Or at least wait for level 2 on Invoker so
Yeah.
he has something to contribute to the fights. It's a little unfortunate for them. In the mid lane, looks like it's relatively even. 8-0 on the Nyx, 7-2 on the Dragon Knight. Don't want to miss any kills on this bottom lane. It's Lin gets initiated on again, and the Pounce followed by the Leech Seed, but too close to tower.
And exactly, this is... Oh, the turnaround here on the Answer doing really good damage. He will get Living Armor, though. That's going to be the end of the engagement. This is exactly what we were talking about. If it's the Invoker who gets gone on, I don't think it has so much to do with lane position. It's just when they open on him, the counterplay from LGD is just too easy to keep him
Do
alive
you
enough.
think that Shadow Priest should have skilled Grave at level 1 to prevent the first blood instead of heal?
He used it before. He already used Shadow Wave once in lane. I think he wants to just harass the Slark a lot with that, because when he goes in for last hits, he exposes himself to the Shadow Wave, which makes sense. But maybe in hindsight, you just wait until level 2
Yeah,
and see what happens.
It's difficult to tell. I think they should have just waited until level 2. NE's level 1 is just much, much stronger. What do they get at level 2? Like Essence Shift and living armor. It's not that great. Fade Bolt, as opposed to a spell on Invoker. And
something. But he actually went 1 point in Quas and 1 in Exort. I think that's really surprising to me, and I feel like that's too greedy. I don't think he's shown his Exort orbs yet, but then why would you skill it, right? He needs to use these to get the damage out.
Having Cold Snap is better than having Exort.
Yeah, mid lane, the rotation from NE. They're trying to get in on Rabbit. He's trying to get his courier, actually, here with the bottle. And this should be a pretty easy pickoff. Oh, maybe not. Stick charges. He has the bottle as well. Oh, God. We'll actually live through that. That was a really clutch play. Perfect timing on the bottle there.
Yeah, I thought he was dead for sure with that DD coming out.
That's just the Dragonite armor. 7 armor with the first point in Dragon Blood.
And he already has boots, too. So, not going particularly greedy in Bracer mode. So, what do you think about them leaving Slark down to dry in bottom lane? I think they were kind of winning to begin with, and I think they could have pressured Invoker a lot more. But now the supports can just play super greedy on bottom.
Yeah, they're gonna New Element are gonna show top lane. I think Pugna saw them, so perhaps the reasoning for this rotation is not just to try and gank mid, but also because they have a feeling Pugna's getting a lot of farm. He's actually out farming Darkseer by quite a margin, about 25% right now. And a farm Pugna in this lineup, I think, is really scary. He's just such an incredible mid-game hero. Fast mech, perhaps, or a Necronomicon, and you just start taking down the towers. And New Element has a lot of heroes that have high mana cost. You've got Darkseer, will be crushed by the Nether Ward. So will Rubik, even without the spell steal. Still, his 2 abilities cost 270 mana combined. Nyx Assassin, high mana costs. Treant, Leech Seed, 140 mana cost. If he gets up that Nether Ward early, I think LGD are just going to start forcing towers with the... They don't even need Invoker to be there, to be honest, with the Force Spirits. Just Dragonite level 6, Nether Ward, Shadow Wave, and the heal from Witch Doctor. It's going to be so hard for a New Element to fight into that.
I think the damage has already been done in top lane. 4 minutes in, he has Arcane Boots. He's level 6, almost level 6, I believe. And, I mean, how are they really going to gank him? He can just blast a wave and just run away. And if he uses Ion Shell at all, it would just be at Pugna's tower. So it's a little questionable. And in the bottom lane, we already see them pressuring the tower. It looks like Darkseer's healing. He won't be here to defend, but if he TPs in, I think he's dead.
Yeah, we're going to have Rubik porting in on the tier 2, though. So, of course, Fade Bolt is a decent ability for defending the tower if you get the minus damage on the heroes, or if you just pull the wave like this. It's going to be fine enough. And with Darkseer rotating bottom, they're going to be playing the Slark top and try to recover with him. But like you said, maybe the damage is already done. This aggressive Trallion from New Element essentially tried to dodge a Trallion, and then they ran into one. So Slark's farm is not as high as it should be, but more importantly, his leveling is going to be a bit delayed. Generally, at this point, if he has the safe lane, it's a 3-on-1. He will be more than level 5 if the supports don't steal too much. They would have just held away whoever was there. And looking at LGD's heroes, either it was going to be a Trallion top, and they don't really have a good offlaner, so they just wanted to try what they got. The tower has fallen already at 5 minutes, and maybe they just go on. Like, there's not that much to stop them at this point.
And Dragon Knight's coming in too. This is going to be a really scary push. And I mean, Pugna, once he's level 5, I mean, usually you push at level 7, I'd say, but level 5 is early enough. And really, what is a Darkseer going to do this early? Or a Slark, and Treant Living Armor isn't going to help at all.
Yeah, level 1 on the Forge Spears as well, not really doing too much just yet. Of course, the big breaking point for Exort Invoker is generally level 9, when you have 4 points in Exort and Quas, and the 1 point in Invoke, so you get the double Forge. He's going to have a late Midas because of how the lane worked out, but I don't think it bothers them too much as long as they manage to take 2 towers here, and then they can just... The thing is, they're just going to rotate from one lane to the other, and until a New Element really starts defending, they just don't care. This is something I've seen LGD in the past do in so many games, where they just realize the enemy team is too greedy and not good at defending against pushing, and LGD, in my book, one of the best Dragon Knight teams in the world. They're just so good at using him when he gets level 6.
Yeah, this is really where you question this first phase Slark pick. Like, he just isn't going to be able to do anything. He can free farm in top lane. Maybe he gets a Shadow Blade, but if he wants to fight against this 5-on-5 line, he has to get BKB, I feel like. And that's just going to be too late. They're going to take down like 3 or 4 towers by the time he even gets 2 of those 3 items.
Yeah, and maybe even the Shadow Blade won't work, because LGD are going to play these structured pushes where they'll just put down sentry wards every time if they see, oh, there's a Shadow Blade coming out. They don't really care. What Shadow Blade is good at is catching heroes off guard when they're split pushing or farming the jungle or something like that, but LGD will just be going at like a 5-man death ball. Their CS are really low for 7 minutes, like their highest CS in 33, but it's because they've been in the bottom lane for like 2 minutes straight. They don't really care. As long as they get the towers, it's a really great trade for them.
They'll probably have like double Necro 3s too by the time he gets Shadow Blade, if Invoker wants to do that build. So I think Invoker's going for Midas.
Yeah, he has it in 100.
That's decent timing considering that he was tried. But that's what happens when you get a T1 and a T2. So as you said, they're just gonna keep rolling. Dragon Knight's ult is about to cool down in just 5 seconds, so why not? They're not really trading off too much here. Slark is getting some farm, but he's still 5th in net worth. We see Darkseer pushing down bottom, but he's number 6.
From Shiki. I was about to say, if you're a new element, what do? Right? You can't just sacrifice all 6 towers, then you just lose the game. So, do you defend? Do you try to split push? Is there any sort of opening for ganks? And maybe it's this haste rune on Nyx Assassin, but Dragon Knight got an Invis. Do they have any detection whatsoever? I don't think so.
He can try to be like kind of cheeky and just drag the creeps around. I think
she could just run through your carapaces and runs away. He knows there's an Invis Dragon Knight, so maybe he was worried about getting initiated on with Dragon Tail. And they're gonna go in the next tower. I think this is another tower you just can't defend. The moment LGD get to the tower, it's almost already down.
Yeah, but really, how can they stop it? Maybe like an Iron Shelled Slark who Shadow dances in?
Oh, there is the telekinesis. Maybe a follow-up Impale here, but Rabbit's going to run off to the side. He's actually going to get caught by quite some Iron Shell damage here, but there's a nice wall as well. Will take a lot of damage, but the defensive potential of LGD is just so huge. Going to heal him up easily here, and that means big cooldowns used by any, at the very least, the Darkseer ultimate as well as the Slark ultimate. And they didn't even get a kill.
And this is 4 on 5 too. Invoker's still on bottom.
Yeah, this means the tower is gone, and that they can continue when these ultimates are on cooldown. Train is level 4, Rubik is level 4. They don't have anything to fight with at all. This is just turning into an absolutely huge strategic loss so far for New Element.
Net worth chart, almost 5,000 in favor of LGD at this point.
That's 500 gold per minute gain. It's pretty sick.
Well, the question is, what does the LGD do once they get all the T1s, or even like 4 of the 6 outer towers? Can they actually push uphill into any? Can they actually take Roshan? Yeah, they can push uphill. I think they need Necros to do so, though.
Pugna has a mech, so now they have even more healing, and if any had some other supports, I think it was going to be harder to push against them, but Treant is, let's be honest, pretty terrible at base defending once the heroes are there. You've got Living Armor, which just gets removed on the tower. Overgrowth is not going to bother LGD a single bit because they actually want to 5 on 5, so the only way you defend against them is that you kill someone off, and New Element just doesn't have the damage yet. So with this mech on Pugna, maybe we see Necro 3s like you said for both Invoker and Pugna now. I think they can just break the tier 3s, and once they get the tier 2s down, they will have at least a Necro 1 on both those heroes, maybe Necro 2s. New Element are just cornered, I feel. And I don't know what piece of advice we could give them right now, apart from put some Iron Shells on the Nyx Assassin and go for some ganks, I guess.
Yeah, they're really prepared with the Sentry Wars, too, though. They dropped 2 in middle. I just saw, I think Witch Doctor or Dazzle picked up 2, and they're just always prepared. As long as they don't make any grave mistakes, like not having sentries and getting like 3-man Nyx Sun, then they should be okay.
Just use Dark Pact? Oh, I thought they might go in on him there, but of course he does have his ultimate, so he was gonna be
it's so scary for him.
Yeah, he can't really commit. So, are we gonna have any TP defense from New Element, or are they gonna try to push bottom? It looks like they're trying to trade, which I can understand the reasoning for this. Actually, maybe they're gonna get into Lin here. There is the Iron Shell on the Nyx Assassin here. There will be a Grave though. TP in, nice Grave coming out from DDC, but it might just get himself killed as well, TPing in here. But now Rabbit doing good damage. They will still be trading off. DDC is already dead. Maybe they can get Lin as well. Rubik doing whatever damage he can, but the heal from Witch Doctor just absolutely huge here. And now maybe even, damn, I forgot what he's called, the Darkseer will be Dragon-tailed again. It's a 3-for-1 exchange. LGD just getting way more out of this than New Element. And here comes Slark. Should have probably been there about 30 seconds earlier.
You can tell that Ennie's feeling really desperate right now. He couldn't even get there earlier. Like, where is he going to TP to? The mid T2 to the bottom T3? It's just not a great place for him to fight, whereas LGD, they just TP'd right on our tower and were able to respond very, very quickly. And in the meantime, they did get the T1 on top, so net worth is just going to be ridiculously in favor of LGD. Don't even need to look at charts for that.
Why you bring it up? Yeah, they basically got another 1,500 gold from that, roughly, and 2,500 experience, too, so they're starting to get some levels. I guess perhaps the biggest play that I can come up with is Rubik stealing Nether Ward. I think that's the best way they have of defending the base. If he can manage to pull that off and they can get a team fight, and LGD don't notice, if they start casting a lot of expensive spells like Invoker with Exord, if he starts using Meteor, that's a huge mana cost ability. Something like Sunstrike Ice Wall costs a lot as well. If you can manage to do that, perhaps you take a fight. Do you feel like there's anything else that can win the team
Vacuum Wall. I think he should probably start I think he
But they just
probably
don't have
should
the
have
combo
skipped
damage
it.
with it, right?
Well, they can overgrowth. Like, I mean,
For 0 damage.
overgrowth into like a impale
Yeah.
from Nyx. That's about as good as you're gonna get, I'd say. It's a long shot.
But is that going to be enough, though? How much... The lowest... Oh, here we go. Nyx is actually going to try to come in from behind there. It's a decent wall. Only gets the Dragonite, though. That's a good illusion to have, but Shiki is still going to be dropping very easily here. Witch Doctor with the ward. He's going to get bashed by Roshan. But it doesn't really matter. This is the overgrowth. He's going to go in here with Slark, taking some decent damage here from the Sunstrike as well, and now he's going to have to get out of there. They just can't seem to kill anyone. They didn't even get anyone below 50%, I think. Now DJ is going to get decrepified, will be slowed. Dragon Tail is up again in another second. Nice. Dark Pact will buy some time, but there's the Poison Touch. And, oh, perfect pounce, actually, disjoining that attack projectile from Witch Doctor and keeping him alive.
Close one. But at the same time, they're not even close to killing anyone. Sure, they can escape, but the tower is still going to fall. Everyone on LGD is still almost at full HP, and the only thing that's really limiting them at this point is Pugna's mana.
Yeah, he's running out of it, though. Should have picked that OD for the value ore.
Dude, OD plus Pugna plus
legit.
Dazzle? Oh my gosh. SSR is so good.
Do you remember that strategy was actually run by Quantic at DreamHack when they beat Alliance in like a 20-minute game?
Dude,
They had a trial lane with Pugna, Dazzle, and Naga, and then they ran OD mid, and I don't remember their last hero. And they just played like, it was like a walking fountain. They just went to a lane and everyone got healed.
Dude, there's a bunch of nasty heroes with OD.
Well, would
Well,
have been cool.
T2 still actually lives. LGD doesn't want to overextend too much, probably waiting for a couple more items, maybe the BKB on Dragonite. It should be coming out soon. Necro books on Invoker and Pugna if they want to do that. Pugna did go for the mech, but not sure what he's going for afterwards, saving up 1,500 gold in his bank. And really, what downtime do they have? Maybe Dragonite ultimate, but I don't even feel like that's imperative for them to take down towers.
No, and it's up again anyway. But
Yeah.
they won't... Oh, they actually will be using it here. I'm a little bit surprised. I thought they would just take this with like 2 Nether Blasts.
Just easy
but
T3.
yeah. They might just go ahead. I feel
I
like
don't
going
see why
back here,
not.
it doesn't make sense. The chance of them losing this fight is really small, I feel. And as long as they don't group up... Darkseer is level 1 vacuum. There's no way in hell he's going to land a good vacuum wall yet. So he's just not online, and you can't blame him for his skill build, because this is the standard Darkseer skill build. He just hasn't got enough levels. We're only 15 minutes in. They're knocking on the tier 3. And gonna play safe, though. We'll be TPing top to not lose this tier 1 that Slark was trying to get. And well, does Slark really have anything? He's got a PMS, he's got Drum, which I would not agree with in this case. I think it's way too inefficient. They need bigger items to be able to fight back. It's a decent mid-game item if you're doing well, but when you're fighting from behind, the Drum is not gonna make the difference.
Yeah, I mean, I think he needs as much HP as he can get to survive at this point. Like, you don't know when LGD's going to push. They could have easily just pushed at T3, and if Slark has a TP back and he's saving for BKB, he can just die with a hammer. So, I mean, they're... okay, Rapid. They're forced to make bad decisions, though, just because of the amount of pressure that LGD's putting onto them right now. Like, they're forced to dive in a bottom, under the guise of the T1, because no one else is really exposed at any point, and now they have to go for suboptimal item builds because they don't know when LGD is gonna force the issue.
Ooh, did Lin see that? I think he might have seen this Vendetta being used by Shiki, so we'll not really be getting in here together with the Rubik. So they did try a smoke gank. Actually, Rubik at the moment has Nether Blast level 4, which is a very potent spell to have together with Nyx in a gank. Between these two heroes, they can burst about 1,000 damage, so would have been able to kill someone like Dazzle, maybe the Invoker a little bit. I think that would have been close if he switched to Strength Treads, but didn't manage to find anyone, and what a surprise, LGD. There's one tier 2 left. Guess which lane they're gonna go push. It's gonna be the top. Necronomicon 1 is flying out. Nope, it flies back. Not gonna get it, Lin.
So
I don't know.
Pugna actually went for a 4-step. Do you think that's the right choice for this third lineup?
It's not really good against Pounce. You can't get out of Pounce with that, so
No.
you're stuck.
I
But
don't really feel like it's good for
it's decent against Overgrowth. You can just reposition yourself and create some space. But I would agree. I would have got more Necro books. Maybe they feel like you don't get enough style points if you get too many.
Oh,
books
there's
to
the
push
4-step in use! Sunstrike comes out. The answer pretty low. Will get Nature's Guys, and I don't think they have any detection left. At least anything but sentries. Pretty much all they need is sentries, though. They don't actually need to get kills. They just need to pretty much prevent any from taking down free T1s and just keep pressuring all their towers at the same time and keep accruing a lot of gold. They have 1 Midas, 2 Ennies, none, and just so much gold in the bank right now.
Oh, he got it! Big play by Rubik. Here we go. He's gonna drop it defensively.
Puck is like, what the heck?
He's gonna kill himself.
What did I just do?
The only problem is they're also pushing without using spells, and I think he just outranged it. Now Witch Doctor, this looks good. He's gonna get permanently green lasered. They're drawing across the map with these lasers. Dragon Knight's gonna pop his BKB. Good damage onto Lin, but perfect grave here though. The wall is doing a lot of work. They might actually be taking this fight right now. Getting 1 kill, getting 2 kills. Slark doing some serious damage, and he's gonna pursue now onto Yao. Will have another pounce. It is gonna land 3 kills here.
That's
I'm
just
surprised they pulled that off.
That's a big mistake by Yao giving them Pugna Ward. As you said, that's probably one of the only ways they can decisively win a team fight, and they knew it was there. You see this green thing zapping you constantly, and they still decided to fight under it. Still, nice wall initiation by the Darkseer, and looks like they'll probably be able to get a T1 off of this.
What would you get on Darkseer now? He's got 3,000 gold
I think Blink.
after that fight. Slark has 3.1. This isn't over yet. They just lost a lot of gold, and they're playing... I don't want to call it a cheese strat, but I want to... They don't stand a chance in the late game, I think, with this. Unless Dragon Knight gets really, really farmed, but... They haven't been focusing on farming that much. Slark is going to be very powerful if he gets some more items. There we go. Actually, really good cast here. Oh, gets unlucky with the bounces, but maybe getting lucky again here. Going to bounce between the creep wave here, but nah. Nothing really going to come out of that. The 4-staff, big 4-staff pickup here. Already making itself useful. They've used it twice and still not got a kill with it. And do they have detection?
They have a Sentry Ward. He should die.
Oh, Leech Tea is going to live.
They have another one. Go.
Oh, God.
Oh, my goodness.
Didn't want to drop it.
So close.
Rubik stole Cask. This is also a really good spell to have, actually, against LGD, but...
They have so many...
I think this is going to be hard now. Slark is getting BKB.
So even though they did lose the last fight, they still did get the T3, and this should make this push pretty darn easy. Unless Darkseer comes in again with a big initiate, but this time they won't have Overgrowth to keep him in place.
I like this play from Slark. It might be a big expending... Oh, that's not a word. Oh, wait a minute. There's the wall. They can't really get anything out of that, so that's on cooldown. He expended the Shadow Dance to destroy the Nether Ward. Do you feel like that's a good trade? Is that worth it?
I think so, yeah.
I would agree with this play too. It shows some pretty good decision making. This is something I feel like a lot of players would not be doing because they would be like, I cannot sacrifice my Slark ult for that. But that's just so important to get rid of that Nether Ward. And I don't know if you noticed as well, but Pugna used Nether Ward and just immediately decrepified himself. He does not want to give it away again. Yao did learn his lesson here.
Yeah,
but
I feel like he should.
Push averted. I mean, they're buying time.
His ward shouldn't die during Shadow Dance, so he should just decrep it and then...
But he already decrept himself, so it doesn't get stolen. So
yeah,
it's a little
that's
bit.
true.
He should drop the ward and just stand back. Right?
Drop the ward, stand back, drop the ward, blast, and if he Shadow Dances it, I think you should just win the fight from there. It's so easy to kill Slark. He can't initiate, decrep the ward, and go from there. Dragon Knight BKB was used that fight, but still not too much gain in return. They did get some chip damage, but easily remedied by living armor. Yep. And now LGD's just kind of all sitting around in mid, and they've been 5-manning a lot. So cost of 5-manning is not getting farm in the side lanes, letting Slark have his way, and Slark is not really catching up, but he's still number 2 on net worth, even though he only has a couple of kills to his name.
I think it's going to be crucial that Slark has a BKB now and that Darkseer almost has his, unless that's an Ags, but I think he's going BKB too. They just realized when they start picking up BKBs, the LGD damage output is really not that scary. The only significant damage sources they have are, well, Dragon Knight, he doesn't have any damage yet. There's the Witch Doctor. I think the Death Ward is like the biggest threat to them, to be honest, when they're in BKB. There's like nothing else really damaging.
Death Ward, Weave, Ags.
Yeah.
Easy. He's not very close to Eggs, though.
This is, I'm surprised. I thought Rex would have been down by now.
I think so, too. I think it was the Nether Ward steal as well as, I don't know, them just having a really good wall by the Darkseer that one time. So, even though that's a terrible base defense lineup, too. Aside from Darkseer. Darkseer is pretty much best one, but aside from that, Slark, useless. Rubik, not very good unless he just gets good spells. So I feel like LGD's playing a little bit sloppy. They should have been able to execute.
Do you just go Roche now if you're LGD and feel like they can't... They do have...
I feel like that's a terrible place for them to fight, though.
Any has Darkseer, who's great in the Roche pit. Slark is pretty good in the Roche pit, too, so... Maybe they can't get the Roche, and I think that might be the problem here, is that they don't feel confident enough pushing the high ground without...
I think they just get Necro 3s and try and siege without actually putting their heroes at risk. Like, they have 4 Spirits, they have Dragon Knight who has BKB, put them up in front, and 2 Necro 3s, and they should be able to siege it down. The 4-staff pickup Yeah, maybe it got them a kill already, but aside from that, it hasn't really done that much. It's
How much health does the Warrior Necronomicon have on level 3? 800?
a lot.
A lot.
800, maybe?
Because I'm
Yeah.
wondering if
around
any
that.
just with these BKBs, you have the Dark Pact damage with BKB, and then you have a Fate Bolt, and then Slark just hits them once, and they're gone. This Necronomicon, we do have a melee Necro here. It's got 600 health. Actually, initiation here from XZ. I don't know if this is going to work out at all. Impale decent, but not really too much going to come out of it. Rubik's taking a lot of damage from the Nether Ward. We'll have to back off. Rabbit has not used his BKB yet, and DJ is taking so much damage. He's actually just going to fall here to the Shadow Wave. And now they're going to go over on XZ, who was decrepified. Now he's going to fall as well. I feel like NE should not have initiated here. Just wait, let LGD come to you. Sure, they lost the range barracks,
Did
but
Slark even use his BKB?
no.
Why? So he used his Shadow Dance late because he died during the Shadow Dance by the Shadow Wave, and then he didn't use his BKB, and that was just super sloppy play. I mean, it only took like one big mistake from NE to lose their fight or lose their Rex, and that was it. They played pretty well up until that point, but I mean that's a problem with this sort of explosive lineup from LGD with heavy pushing potential, heavy sustain, and everyone's almost at full HP after that fight. They can kind of keep going. Well, not with Nether Ward
Just
down.
so disciplined from LGD. The moment the rebuy sound comes out from Slark, they all back off together. Don't get caught out. They're going to reset, maybe turn around again. But Slark is actually on the hunt here. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to catch anyone. Nyx is backing him up too with the Blink Dagger. And I think that base defense from NE goes so differently if they have a Blink Dagger on Darkseer. It was just so obvious he was running in. He pops BKB, he starts surging in. It's like...
How the
LGD
heck
are
did
just
they
like,
farm that BKB anyways?
They just split out.
Yeah, I think Blink is much better in this situation.
Now they have it on Treant though, so, but... The problem Darkseer has though is that if he doesn't have that BKB, he almost kills himself using his 3 spells against the Nether Ward, so...
That's true.
It makes a lot of sense getting that as a pickup, but then again...
Without Vacuum Wall, they're not going to win fights.
Yeah, exactly. They have to land that properly, and didn't do it last time. I think he got impatient. They already lost the range Rex pretty much anyway, so the melee one's the important one to defend, and perhaps you can fight one lane down, because as we said, LGD's late game not necessarily the best one, but... Well, neither is New Elements, to be honest. It's not that easy of a call to make if this just becomes a stalemate.
Yeah, I feel like LGD can just keep throwing bodies down, and they just have much better siege too, without really putting themselves at that much risk. It's not like you have like a Luna or some fragile carry up in front being on a tower. You just blast back off, blast back off, blast back off, Forge Spirits, and just hit one with Dragon Breath every few seconds, and then you're good. That's so much damage on the towers that Living Armor can't do anything about. Corrosive Breath just destroys it.
I like this play from NE. This is the type of play they need to make. Darkseer's been spotted out. He's going to run in here. Good overgrowth. Will use the BKB. Can he get a vacuum wall? Actually, 4 people caught in that. Meteor is going to be dropped on only a BKB target. It's going to do absolutely nothing. Rabbit in the front lines doing good damage to Rubik. Will force him away. Now in the wall, NE are taking so much damage here. They still don't have enough firepower. The heals are just keeping them at bay. And they'll be getting 2 kills, if not even 3 now. This is going to be Rax as well, I feel. This could be the end of the game. I think 1 lane of Rax, maybe you can come back from.
2 is just...
2 is just impossible against this brute force from LGD.
That
was a good
3
back
up.
wall, but they just, again, they don't have the synergy with it. There's no... Unless they land a massive Impale on that and Dark Pact and everything, they basically have to combo it perfectly.
No one could run past Rabbit, too. He was just sitting out in front with his BKB, and he was just wailing on people. They got the good initiate, but really no follow-up after that. And it was, again, as you said, super obvious from Dark. He's, like, surging in. It's like, hey, guys, I wonder what's going to happen here.
I'm impressed he actually got a 4-man wall there.
Yeah.
Cask is stolen by Rubik.
Nice 3-mana Pell from Shiki, but they're already all at full HP. Easy Witch Doctor heal, no Maledict. Doesn't need it.
Slark is going to take some damage here. Good Dark Pact to break the... Oh, denies the barracks. Big play. Overgrowth. Because why not? And Witch Doctor's going to throw the cast. DJ is not going to land that pounce. He will Shadow Dance for this, actually. I don't think he has a chance of getting that kill, and he is going to back out. Nyx will, however, blink in and completely miss his Impale, and here comes Darks here with the vacuum. No wall, though. This is not looking good.
Nice Dark Pack from DJ, but LGD, they're really, really disciplined. As soon as they lose Nether Ward, they back off. They go to a more fortified position up the high ground, and they always back out as 5. You don't see people like straying off. No one's like running to mid to push that in. No one's TPing off early. So I think LGD is doing a really good job of minimizing casualties. And if they can make like a couple mistakes, at this point because they're really far ahead. But still, even when they're this far ahead, they're very disciplined in how they choose to engage and disengage fights.
I think this has been the storyline for LGD over the last, I don't know, year or two.
Yes.
They're just so disciplined in their play, and even though Xiao 8 is not playing for the team anymore, it seems like the new captain's just stepped up, and that whenever a team backs out like that, you get the impression that there's some sort of authority who just makes the calls, and everyone just listens. No second thoughts. They just immediately do whatever captain says, back out, and makes the play. And that perhaps is going to be a really important thing for LGD going further into this tournament. I mean, we can start talking about this as if this game is pretty much practically over. So LGD going further looks like a solid strategic team. They still have their roots in the great pushing lineups that they've played in the past over the last year whenever they get the opportunity to do it. Seems like they have the strategy in place. The captain is there. How do you play against LGD? This, to me, was just a flat-out strategic loss. I don't think any really got outplayed. They've played okay. They just didn't really have a chance. So
They need to draft a little bit better. Like, draft something like Keeper the Light, let's say, to stall LGD. That one support alone can fend off the 5-man death ball. And yeah, he's going to take like some crap from Nether Blast, or Pugna Ward rather, but it's still going to do enough damage that LGD won't have the sustain to actually deal with it, even with a Dazzle and a Witch Doctor. Also, I think they can pick heroes and get items that actually split push a lot faster, like Nature's Prophet or what other split pushers are there? Luna, I guess, can push down towers pretty quickly if you try and base race. Lone Druid, those kind of things that can prolong the game and actually still do well in the late game. So I think that Slark just can't do anything in this sort of game.
good force staff here by the answer.
So nice high ground attempt, but they have a ward. They have eyes on these two heroes. They're not smoked up, but they don't even care. They're just like, hey, well, if you want to fight, you gotta come to us. Coming to our Necro 3s, two Necros, one Necro 2, one Necro 3, and the Pugna Ward. So Maples tries to go in with the Blink Root, but an immediate counter BKB by Rabbit. Chops one hero down. See Shiki and DJ both trying to BKB in. Shadow Dance used, but he's out of cooldowns.
And now Shiki needs to basically land an Impale that does 10 times as much damage as it does to kill off the Radiant.
And Dagon 5.
Dagon 5 refresher. Or Rapier and 3 Battle Furies could have
Did he get vacuumed up there? I guess so. Well, Cheeky plays some darks here.
But that's the tier 3 tower down, and they're just going to continue the siege. There's nothing available on New Element. They don't have the wall anymore. They don't have I guess they have vacuum ready, but there's no combo with it unless Nyx is in a good position. He's going to blink in here with Carapace on, but no one is hitting him. He is going to get the Impale off, though, but taking so much damage. And now the Witch Doctor Ward is going to make quick work of 1, 2, even 3. Just so much damage.
Look at it go!
Look at it go. V111, S11, SAAA, apostrophe V3, SSS 111.
I think we can
called by Maples.
We know what his item hotkeys are.
Yeah, and that, to be honest, that game was just a V111, S11 game.
Yeah.
Well,
they have to draft better. I think that they are very good at playing the style that they play, but LGD is just so good at what they do that, I mean, when it comes to 5-man push, you can't draft that sort of lineup. No. It was pretty obvious from the get-go, I'd say, from the, Invoker plus DK. That's already a threatening push with 4 Spirits and Dragon Breath alone.
And they did ban out the Chen, so they did see it coming.
They did see it coming.
But they just didn't prepare for it still, which is a little weird. Considering that they seem to have the right read on the game, they could have definitely done something about it. But LGD are going to come out victorious. Pretty easy game.
3-0.
3-0. But I'm still, considering how poor, let's be honest, that draft was for this game, I still think New Element did a pretty good job. I would have expected them to lose way earlier than this, like 20 minutes.
Lose the Rex.
Yeah, lose the Rex in like 20 minutes. And they managed to hold on. As far as individual skill goes, I think they didn't get completely outplayed by LGD solos either. So New Element's talent is definitely there. It's just strategy, shot calling perhaps that needs some polishing here.
It's a good call. So they're not looking terribly great in terms of playoff contention now. They're 2-2, lost 1 to LGD and lost 1 to Dreamtime, so I guess they've had some of their difficult opponents out of the way, but do you think they're like a legitimate contender for 4th place?
Yeah, I would say so. I think the 4th place is going to be really exciting in this tournament because we still have probably LGD as a favorite together with Dreamtime. Still going to be my call for top 2, even though Dreamtime did lose a game to New Element, which is interesting. HDT are now 3-0. They were my choice for 3rd place. I think the game HDT versus Dreamtime is going to be really crucial. I still have Dreamtime as the winner for that game, but if Dreamtime lose another game, I don't think they can make top 2. I think top 2 will consist of a team with 0 losses and a team with 1 loss. That's going to be my prediction still. either it's LGD that lose to a team like Dreamtime or HGT, or the other way around, and then the other one will clean sweep. I'm still gonna say that, but
What about when they play each other?
wait, that would actually mean that if I want to make that prediction right, that's actually even impossible already, because Dreamtime would have to win against everyone to get one loss, and then they would have to beat LGD, who then gets a loss. So that's impossible. Great prediction. I'm good at this. But okay, so throw away everything I said about that. I still think LGD, Dreamtime, I'm holding on to them as top 2, but HGT are now looking to have a better chance at it, of course, because of the loss Dreamtime had against New Element. What's CIS's score? I didn't get
1 and
catch that on
2.
the screen.
Their bottom
1 and
half of the
2.
bracket is Speed, LGD, CDEC, and CMB, the Tongfu, and CIS. So I think CIS is the only one that has like somewhat of an okay chance at going into 4th. They're the only team that I know that has had some decent performances in the past.
Yeah. I would say, okay, so I chose CIS before this started as my position 4. I still think they can make it, but New Element has been a pretty good surprise so far. I think that was also the call from, was it Roland who said New Element were a team to watch out for? And
They definitely are.
taking a game against Dreamtime already puts them in a really good position, because that's probably a game that the other teams they would be competing for 4th place with will not be taking away. So already then, that's a great start, and losing to LGD is absolutely no shame at all. And perhaps more than anything, this wasn't just a loss, but they will be prepared for this should it become relevant later on, because this type of loss is generally one you suffer once in a tournament. You don't get cheesed like that again.
I hope so, but it's LGD. LGD is well known for playing that. So
that's kind of the big surprise.
there's
about
been
it.
a lot of draft fails in this tournament, surprisingly, as opposed to just complete outplays in the other qualifiers. So I think some of the teams need to step up their drafting if they want to have a chance for a
Just
playoff
draft
spot.
something and play a 150-minute game and win late game. Right?
Oh, Jesus. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Next up, we have... What's our next game? Dreamtime versus HGT. Now that's a damn
That's
good
gonna
game.
be a good game.
Yeah. What? That's what you said.
How did you get it?
What do you mean?
How did y'all get to cast it?
We get a cast it? Do we?
I don't know. I think we swapped it around. We were scheduled to actually be casting that game, but now we mixed it up. So I don't know. I feel like it's unfair to Suns fan to just block out his games. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyways, that's going to be a really, really good
Yeah.
game. And Dreamtime, yeah, they have one loss, but there are many people's predictions to be one of the top 2, HGT as well. So this is a Clash of the Titans.
It's probably
Stay
the
tuned.
biggest game of the day, because LGD are not playing Dreamtime today. And are they playing HGT today? Did they play them? I actually think LGD versus
Dreamtime did not play LGD.
LGD DT and LGD HGT I think are tomorrow, so they're going to be absolutely huge, and that just because of our predictions, this is the biggest game of the night. So it's one you don't want to miss. Stay tuned. We're going to come back with that game in... It's scheduled to start in 25 minutes?
Starts schedule at 4, but everything's a little bit behind schedule, so
Yeah.
don't be surprised if there are a couple minute delays. Hashtag TI4NA. An hour 15 minutes ago. I don't know.
Okay.
Something's wrong here. At Cinder and Dota, at Merlini Dota. Thank you guys. This is our Channel 1 stream. I don't know if there's any other games going on right now. I don't have my client. Do you have your
I'm
client?
assuming this was
You
not
want-
the longest game, so I guess the other games are going
So
on.
check
with
out the other
streams.
streams. BeyondTheSummit.tv has the other 3 streams listed, so check that out. Thank you guys.
Exactly. See you guys soon on this stream. These are the TI4 Chinese qualifiers presented by Monster. We will be back soon.